Alice grew up in a small village, raised by a single mother who struggled to provide for her and her younger sister Eunice. Their father had left when they were very young, and their mother became everything to them: mother, father, teacher, and friend. Alice, being the firstborn, carried responsibilities on her shoulders early. She was strong, ambitious, and determined to change her family's story. After finishing college, she found herself in Nairobi, working as a secretary in a transport company. Life was not easy in the beginning, but she was hardworking. With time she met John, a well-established businessman who charmed her with his ambition and sense of direction. Their relationship blossomed quickly, and before long Alice was married and settled in Nairobi. Eunice, on the other hand, had just completed secondary school. She was bright, energetic, and full of dreams, but still figuring out her next steps. Back in the village, their mother began to worry that Eunice was idling around too much, which could lead her into trouble. One evening she called Alice and said, "My daughter, your sister is growing restless here. Please, if you can, let her come to Nairobi. Even if she does some small courses before joining the university, it will help her focus." Alice loved her sister dearly and wanted the best for her. After speaking with John, they agreed Eunice could join them. Soon after, Eunice packed her small bag and made her way to Nairobi. Life in the city excited her. The busy streets, the bright lights, the endless movement, it all fascinated her. Alice enrolled her in computer classes and also driving school. Eunice seemed happy at first, grateful to her sister for opening such opportunities. Days passed smoothly until one evening Eunice complained to Alice that she was feeling itchy down there. Embarrassed but concerned, she quietly confided in her sister. Alice, thinking it was probably a minor infection, rushed to buy some over-the-counter medication. "Don't worry, you'll be fine," Alice reassured her. But the itchiness did not go away. Alice became worried, but with her tight work schedule she couldn't spare much time. One morning, while rushing to the office, she turned to John and said, "Please take Eunice to the hospital today. I think she needs proper treatment." John agreed. Later that evening, when Alice returned from work, she noticed some tablets placed carelessly on the bedside table. "Whose are these?" she asked curiously. John chuckled lightly and said, "Oh, those belong to your sister. The doctor prescribed them, but I forgot to give them to her." He brushed it off casually, and Alice thought nothing more of it. But things slowly started changing. John, who had always been affectionate and warm, began to withdraw from her. Whenever Alice tried to get intimate, he would refuse, claiming he was too tired from work. The excuses grew more frequent, and Alice began to feel a silent wall forming between them. One night, after weeks of rejection, he finally gave in. Alice felt relieved, thinking maybe things were returning to normal. But a few weeks later she started feeling strange. The same itchiness Eunice had complained about crept in. At first she thought it was her imagination, but soon it became unbearable. Her heart sank with worry. Meanwhile, Eunice's behavior began to change drastically. She became moody, rude, and dismissive. She no longer attended her classes regularly and often complained that the courses were boring. "I don't like this driving thing," she snapped one afternoon. "Even the computer classes are nonsense. I don't want them anymore." Alice was shocked by her sudden change in attitude. The sweet, respectful little sister she had known was slipping away. Days turned into weeks and tensions grew inside the house. John remained cold and distant, and Eunice seemed increasingly rebellious. Finally, unable to take it anymore, Alice decided enough was enough. One evening she called both John and Eunice into the living room. "Tomorrow, we are all going to the hospital together. No excuses, I want all of us checked properly," she said firmly. The next day the three of them went for a medical checkup. Samples were taken and they waited anxiously for the results. Hours later the doctor called them in. His face was grave as he placed the files on the table. "All three of you have tested positive for gonorrhea," he said calmly but firmly. Alice's world spun. Her chest tightened and she could hardly breathe. She turned to look at John, then at Eunice. Neither could meet her eyes. As if that wasn't enough, the doctor added, "And Eunice is pregnant." Silence filled the room. Alice's ears rang. She stared at her sister, her lips trembling. Who is responsible?" she whispered. Eunice hesitated, tears welling in her eyes. After a long pause, she finally spoke. "It's John. We love each other." The words cut through Alice like a knife. Her knees grew weak and she sank back into the chair. No, this can't be real," she muttered. But it was real. The truth lay naked before her, impossible to deny. When they returned home, Alice was furious, devastated, and broken. She called her mother immediately, expecting comfort and outrage on her behalf, but her mother's response shocked her even further. "My daughter, calm down. Things happen. They are still family. Let's not throw stones where there should be peace. Alice could hardly believe what she was hearing. Mama, are you saying this is okay? That my husband has betrayed me with my own sister, and you want me to accept it? Her mother sighed heavily. Life is not black and white, Alice. Sometimes we must accept the situations we cannot change. They are young, they love each other, and a baby is on the way. Think about it. Alice felt abandoned, betrayed by everyone she trusted. For days she locked herself in her room, crying until her eyes swelled. John avoided her, spending more and more time outside, while Eunice grew bolder, walking around the house with a new sense of ownership. But inside Alice something began to shift. She realized she had to choose, either remain broken and let them destroy her completely, or stand tall and reclaim her life. Slowly she began to plan. She started saving secretly, hiding money in a separate account. She reached out to a lawyer quietly, seeking advice. Meanwhile, she put on a calm face at home, not letting John or Eunice suspect anything. Weeks later, Alice invited her mother to Nairobi. When she arrived, Alice surprised her by arranging a family meeting. John and Eunice sat smugly, believing Alice was about to surrender and accept their relationship. But Alice cleared her throat and calmly announced, "I have filed for divorce. John, you can have the life you have chosen with my sister. As for me, I am starting afresh. I refuse to be part of this betrayal." The room went silent. Eunice fidgeted nervously, while John laughed sarcastically. "Do you think you can survive without me? I built this house, I provided everything," he sneered. Alice looked him in the eye, her voice steady. "Yes, you built the house, but you cannot build my peace. You cannot build my dignity. Those I will build for myself." Her mother tried to intervene, pleading for her to reconsider, but Alice stood firm. For the first time in her life, she chose herself above everyone else. The divorce process was not easy. John tried to frustrate her at every turn, but Alice's lawyer was sharp. Eventually, Alice walked away with her independence and a determination to rebuild her life. She rented a small apartment, started attending evening classes to sharpen her skills, and threw herself into her work. Slowly, opportunities opened up. Meanwhile, John and Eunice's relationship began to crumble. The pregnancy was harder than Eunice had expected. She grew resentful of John's controlling nature. Their love turned into constant quarrels. When the baby finally arrived, John's attention shifted elsewhere. Rumors spread of him seeing other women, leaving Eunice to struggle alone with the child. One evening, years later, as Alice walked confidently into her own office, she had risen to a managerial position. She received a call from her mother. Eunice had been abandoned by John, left with a child and no support. She was depressed, lost, and begging for Alice's forgiveness. Alice listened quietly, her heart torn. Painful memories resurfaced, but she had grown stronger. She told her mother, "I forgive her, but I cannot live her life for her. She must walk her own path just as I walked mine." That night, as Alice stood on her balcony overlooking the city lights, she realized something profound. Life had broken her once, but she had risen again. She had discovered her true strength not in holding on, but in letting go. The unpredictable twist came when John, years later, was arrested for fraud and lost everything. His businesses collapsed, his wealth disappeared, and he became a shadow of the man he once was. Eunice, still tied to him by their child, suffered the most, and Alice, though scarred, stood free, successful, independent, and stronger than ever. She never remarried, but she raised her